to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is bliss.
Welcome to today's video. I'm Gary Wiriawan, and today is another everyday photography vlog. We are currently visiting what called right here Keta Pass. So this is in between some mountains and volcanoes right here, but different volcano from the previous vlog. So yeah, this is part of my everyday photography challenge. I'm trying to find some compositions right here, and I will take you through behind the scenes of how I take those pictures, the camera settings and whatnot in a POV style vlog. So yeah, you can watch the other vlogs up here. I will put a link right there so that you can watch them. But anyway, today the gear is pretty simple. I'm bringing just one camera, the GX85, and then I'm using 2 or maybe 3 lenses. I have the 12 to 32mm kit lens. I also have the 35 to 100mm lens, my favorite lens currently, and also a wide angle lens. We're gonna try to use all of them today, but maybe not all. We're going to see. I haven't decided yet. And also the vlogging camera that's recording this video is the DJI Pocket 2. So yeah, let's try to find some pictures. Alright, so first composition, I'm going to try to do something very simple. I'm going to try to photograph this hill area right here, part of the mountain. I'm not quite sure what mountain is this. It could be Mt Merbabu. It's also a volcano, but a dormant volcano. I featured this mountain before in a previous vlog. You might want to watch it up there. I will put a link, but basically this is just the other side of it. So we're going to try to find some compositions. I'm thinking about, yeah, maybe with the 12 to 32, using the widest angle possible, 12mm. Let's try to photograph this terrace paddy field area, as well as the foreground right there. We have some plants at the bottom of the frame. So yeah, camera setting, very simple, 12mm. Aperture priority f5.6. Let's try to find a good focus, maybe on that foreground plant right here. I hope you can see what I'm doing on the camera. Something like this, very simple. And I'm going to try to feature that terrace over there. I think it just looks really nice, this plantation area. Alright, let's try one more time. Let's try horizontal composition. We're still at 12mm. Something like this, again, very simple. If you can see what I'm doing in the camera. Alright, looks really nice. Now let's try to find some composition right there on the right side here. We have some of this valley area where 2 hills meet, right in the middle right there. I want to try to focus on that area. So I'm zooming to 32mm right now, still in aperture priority f5.6. I'm deciding between vertical composition or horizontal composition. Let's try horizontal first, 25mm. We're going to feature part of this hill right here as sort of a foreground. So we have something for our eyes to be the point of interest besides the actual valley itself. Something like this. I'm trying not to include the building on the right, so I'm zooming a little bit to about 30mm right now. Things looks nice. Let's try vertical composition, still at about 30mm or so. Something like this. You can see a little bit of the town right there. I think it makes for a nice layered composition. Oh yeah. Nice, nice. All right, over here I'm standing really close to the edge of this platform right here. I'm quite scared because there's no safety railing and whatnot, so I have to be really careful. But anyway, I'm going to try to photograph this hill area right here. I think it looks really nice, and also employ a little bit of the trees right here as sort of a foreground of interest. I'm still with the 12 to 32 f5.6. I'm trying to go about 18 or 20mm, something like this. This is what I mean. Looks nice. All right, one more time. Okay, I really like the hill area right here coming down below right there. Makes for a nice implied leading line. There's no actual leading line right there, but I just kind of think it really works as a leading line. The lighting changes right now. We have some sunlight. I hope that it can help to make the picture more dramatic and more clear, gives more clarity, I hope. I'm taking multiple pictures right now, and I also need to explain to you that I'm using electronic shutter to preserve the shutter life of this camera, so you won't hear any shutter sound and whatnot. Yep, I'm taking lots of pictures, but later on I'm just going to choose a few that I think are the best. Now let's try 32mm and try to focus on that area right there. I'm using the trees on the left and on the right as sort of a framing device. Nice. One more time. Alright, so I'm switching to the Laowa 7.5mm. I'm actually stepping down. There's a stair right here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but yeah, these platforms right here. I step down and then I'm trying to photograph a wide angle scenery of this area right here. This is not my particularly favorite composition, because I usually prefer something with lots of foreground, very defined midground and background, but right now we don't really have that. So yeah, I'm just trying to document this as sort of a something to remember in the future. So yeah, 7.5mm, I'm at f2.8 aperture priority. Let's try to focus at one of these foreground plants. Yep, something like that. I hope you can see what I'm doing in the camera. I already marked the hyperfocal distance anyway, so it's not going to be wrong. I will get everything in focus definitely. So yeah, this is the composition that I have in mind, employing a little bit of the tree on the left as sort of a framing device, the foreground of this hill right here, and then the main subject will be the hill on the other side right there. It's cloudy and smoky right here right now. Yeah, this is the composition that I have in mind. What about on the right? Nah, it doesn't really work. This is the one that's better. Right, something like this. Just a very wide angle of everything. Maybe I will crop it later to 16:9. We'll see. Alright, so I switched to the 35 to 100mm lens right here. My favorite, and finally the game is on. Now it's time for a little bit of fun. I'm very excited to use this lens because it enables me to capture different snippets and just focus on certain areas of the frame rather than having something really wide without any clear point of focus. So right there, I don't know if you can see or not, but there's some guy riding motorcycle. 100mm f5.6. I want to try to frame that guy on the motorcycle. Try to use it as a focal point. Well, where is he? He's gone. Oh my god, there's another guy. Let's try something like this. I'm just zooming in really close at 100mm. Gotcha, nice. Alright. So what I really like from the picture that I just took is that we have some different layers in the image. We have foreground, the hill on the other side, and then midground is those trees right there across the other hill, and then the background is like the town right there under the mountain. It's just really nice. Now let's take one without the motorcycle. It's very cloudy today and smoky, as I mentioned before, so it's not really ideal weather condition. I'm going to use lots of the haze on Lightroom to try to bring up some clarity back into this image, and hopefully it'll work. So yeah, something like this without the motorcycle. Looks really nice. I really enjoyed this composition. Let's try this area right here. On the back there we have lots of layers of trees. I think that'll make an interesting background as well. So this is about 70mm or thereabouts. I'm zooming out a little bit to 60. Let's try. Right, something like this. Very nice, very simple. Okay. Alright. What about that area right there? I want to try to take it again, but it's going to be tricky because I don't want to climb up the stairs again. So we're going to do something like this. 100mm. I hope you can see what I'm doing in the camera. Alright, something like this. So we have these layers of trees, and then behind that is the terrace plantation area and the top of the mountain. Something like this maybe. Vertical composition, 100mm f5.6. Nice, nice. Alright, nice. What about that building right there? I don't know if you can see on the vlogging camera, but I hope you can see on the screen of my GX85. Right, really nice. Just a very simple landscape composition. Right, what else can we take? What about the area on the right here? We have some opportunity for foreground, midground, background layered kind of composition again. So I'm at 50mm. I'm thinking of using this bush down there as sort of a foreground, and then the hill on the other side as the midground, and the town under the mountain as sort of the background. Let's try. We're focusing on the hill on the other side. I'm zooming in a little bit to about 60. Let's try. Or maybe 70. Let's try. Nice, nice. I'm lowering the camera a little bit. Nice. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit more. It's difficult, but I think I got it. Okay, nice. What else? What else? We have plenty of time right now. What about that area right there? Maybe. Let's try. Let's try horizontal composition this time, because all I did is just vertical all the time, which is my favorite orientation. So maybe 35mm, just trying to capture those trees at the top of the hill. Maybe it'll be something that's fun and interesting to look at. Alright, thing looks nice. By the way, this is not Yogyakarta, this is Ketep Pass. It's in central Java, but it's nearby. It's about 2 hours drive from my home, so not so bad. Well, what else? That guy on the motorcycle. Oh, he's gone. I'm waiting for another motorcycle to pass by and maybe try to capture. Just very similar to the previous composition. Let's hope somebody will pass through the road again. Or maybe not. Well, let's try to capture the image anyway. This is the composition that I have in mind. Very similar with before, but I'm zooming out to about 60. So we have more of the Terrace Field right there. I think looks really nice. Very quintessential central Java. This area right here, a little bit on the left. I want to try to recapture it again. Nice. Okay. There's no exposure compensation whatsoever. This is just all straight aperture priority. Nice. Alright, that'll do it. Alright, so we're exploring the location a little bit, and I found the other side of this hill area, and over there, as you can see, it's a more pronounced kind of terraced plantation field. I want to try to photograph it again with the 35-100, my favorite lens. I'm setting the camera at f5.6. I mean the lens, the aperture is f5.6, aperture priority. Let's try to focus on just the hilly terrace area right there. Let's try to find some composition there. I'm thinking of using this, as you can see right there, there's like a small plants, a bush right there that I want to use as a foreground. Let's try and do that. I think I might have to crouch. Let's go ahead and do that. I hope you can see what I'm doing in the camera. I'm going to change the focus to single area. I'm making sure that the timer is not on. Yeah, something like this maybe. Okay, this is about 60mm. Something like this. One more. Alright, I'm making sure that I'm not including the power lines right there, because otherwise it'll just look ugly. Vertical composition, auto ISO. Alright. Now I want to try to photograph this area right here. It's just so beautiful. I'm just using the 35-100mm right now, but I might switch lens later. I found these flowers right here that I want to use as a foreground, but maybe it is too distracting. We'll see. Right now it's 35mm. I'm trying to include the flowers and just sort of that part of the hill which looks really nice. Something like this maybe. Still f5.6, aperture priority. Alright, nice, nice. I really enjoy the beautiful terrace looking hill right here. I think it just looks really nice. What about that area right there without any kind of foreground? Let's try 35mm, something like this. Yeah, it's beautiful. I might prefer this area again, but without the foreground. I think it just looks nicer. 35mm, let's try. No foreground whatsoever. I think it just looks nicer, I think. And what about horizontal composition? Let's try. Yeah, nice. I want to try to focus on that hill again, the one that we just photographed earlier. I think it looks really nice. but I'm going to try to zoom in even closer and not include any sort of foreground. So let's go ahead and do that. I hope you can see what I'm doing in the camera. This is about 100mm, just a very simple composition. It's very cloudy and misty right now. Let's try. This is f5.6 100mm. Alright, okay, so over there, we're still in the same area. We are not moving location yet. So I noticed that over there the terrace field just have that little bit of light going on right there because of the sunlight, and we have a little bit of this tree on the left part of the frame. I want to try to photograph that. So f5.6 still with the 35-100. I'm trying to focus on the terrace field and try to use the tree as sort of a framing device. I really love the lines created by this field, by the terrace. I think it just looks really nice. Let's go ahead and try one more time. I'm going to try to include a little bit of the plants on the bottom part of the image right there as sort of a foreground. Maybe it will look nicer. Right, nice. Alright, so we move around a little bit and I found this beautiful vantage point. As you can see, we have all that beautiful mountain, all the valleys, all the shapes of the hills and whatnot, all the terrace field. It's just looking so glorious, and it calls for a wider angle composition. So I switch to the 12 to 32mm right here. Aperture priority f5.6. I want to try to get a very classic wide angle shot right like this. Hope you can see what I'm doing in the camera. I have to put the camera a little bit lower because of this part right here that blocks the frame. So something like this. It's just beautiful. This is 12mm, so beautiful right now. It's just really nice. I need to move the camera just a little bit. Alright, something like this. Okay, like this. Very beautiful. Nice. Alright, I want to try to focus on just that valley area right there, the V-shaped thingy. I think it just looks very beautiful. So vertical composition. I hope you can see what I'm doing on the camera. This is still 12mm because I want to try to include some foreground right here. This tree right there just looks beautiful. Now I want to try to focus by zooming into about, maybe let's try 25mm or 20mm. Looks really nice. Focuses more on the V part of the mountain right there. Very nice. Now let's try to do a horizontal composition, 18mm, without much of the foreground happening, so it's a little bit more of a focused picture. Just really beautiful. Nice. So I'm still at the same place, but now I switch to the 35 to 100mm. I'm trying to get a closer look of that terrace area right there. It's just so beautiful. This time with a telephoto lens. We might have already taken a picture of that part right there, but I just want to retake it again from this angle right here, because now I can find some nice looking foreground, those trees right there. So yeah, 35mm f5.6, something like this. Very beautiful. Nice. Oops, this is video, sorry, I pressed the wrong button. It's aperture priority f5.6. Let's do that again. Alright, something like this. Nice. I'm trying to find something else, maybe something a little bit more zoomed in. I saw right there are some pine trees, as you can see on the camera. So I'm going to try to capture that as well. 100mm f5.6. Oh, really nice. Yep, just looks very beautiful. I'm zooming out slightly to about 95mm or so. Yep, beautiful, beautiful, nice. Alright, so I'm switching to the Laowa 7.5mm right now. I'm at f2.8 because I want to try to get a very wide angle of this beautiful view right here. We have a little bit of sunlight right now. I think it really makes everything look beautiful. So yeah, 7.5mm f2.8. I'm hyper focusing, so hopefully everything will be in focus. Something like this. Nice. It's just so beautiful. I'm gonna try to raise the camera just a little bit so we get more of the sky, and just try to experiment with the best composition. Nice. Alright. And that wraps up today's video. So that is all for today's video. I hope that you find today's video to be useful, inspiring, makes you want to go out and try to take some pictures. So please comment down below, what have you photographed today and what do you think of today's video. Also, don't forget to support my channel by liking this video, sharing this video, subscribing to my channel down below. And if you want to support my channel even further, you can use the affiliate links on the description below and use the super thanks button. It will greatly appreciate it because it will help me to grow my channel even further. Thank you and see you on the next video. Goodbye.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that ignorance is